Yo guys, welcome to a new video on my channel. My name is Maxim and today it's time for a very special video because Frontier invited me over to the studio to try out the new F1 Manager game 22 and it was pretty awesome, so let's dive into the gameplay and see how it was. It was great to see the studio and meet the devs, so thanks for having me. We got a presentation about the game, then we did a hands-on session where we could try the game for the first time, and later we did even a voiceover session where we could scream in the mic for specific moments that are happening in the game, and maybe you will hear us back in the game. And the most important question is finally answered. What is the release date? It's August 25, so we have some time to breathe and then get ready for F1 Manager 22, so I cannot wait for that. If you don't want to miss anything about F1 Manager 22, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. Now let's dive into the gameplay because that's what we're all waiting for. At the home screen you can find all the information you need. All the details are there, all the information is there, and you have a nice overview of all the upcoming events at the right side as well. And you can continue when you're done with all your emails and stuff. That's like the main guidance. Just check your inbox, do what you have to do, follow their advice, and then you're good to go. You can scout drivers from F1, F2 and F3. You can propose them, you can keep an eye out on them and just make sure that your team will be built and improved over time. If you put a new driver in a car for a test session, of course, they will improve, but your current driver will perform worse. You are the team boss and the game is very detailed, so you also have to keep an eye out on your finances so you're not getting into debt and then the board won't be happy and you will get in trouble, but we'll talk more about the board later in this video. Finances can be a bit boring, but we're here for the car. You can analyze your car, develop parts, manufacture them, replace them just to see where you have to improve and make your car better and hopefully be higher up in the grid. In your inbox you can find what parts should be made, what needs improvement. So if you don't know what to do, you can always look in your inbox and see what they advise to you. And now the big question is, what can you change? You can change the chassis, front wing, rear wing, side pods, underfloor and the suspension, so there are quite some options. And for the car performance, this will change the top speed, acceleration, cornering and slow, medium and high speed corners, DRS, dirty air, brake cooling, engine cooling. So there's a lot of things you can do. When you prepare your car for a race weekend, you can see what is crucial for that track. Now it's time to get ready for a race weekend and you need to do that by reading some of the circuit information. You can use that information to gain an advantage and be quicker that race weekend, and all the information you can find is an overview of the track, car attributes, safety cars, red flags, expected strategy. So all that information you have to read, think wisely and make decisions based on that. There are red flags in the game, so the session will be completely stopped. You can change your tires. I was a bit unfortunately with my hands-on session that I just pitted and then there was a red flag, so that was a bit unlucky, but yeah, it happens. I even had 2 red flags, so it was pretty dramatic on Baku. Next up, you have to take a look at the performance targets to keep your sponsors happy, reach the goals, and you can even select some extra targets to gain some bonus money, so that's always nice. But if you don't reach them, of course it will cost you money. You can set a qualifying target, a race target or a hot streak target, and you can also customize these. Like if you don't think you can reach the goal, you can decrease the position you have to finish in or qualifying position, so you can balance it. And finally you have to prepare your car build, see if it fits the track. Maybe you need another part, maybe you need to improve something. The current F1 tracks from this season are in the game. The game will be released every year, so you can expect to have the season track selection per year of the game. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get some DLC tracks, maybe custom seasons in the future. But for now, they need to get the game as good as possible and get everything right. And then later we can dream about DLCs and custom seasons and whatever. Besides the car and everything, you also need to manage and develop your staff. You can select them on their skills, you can steal somebody from another team, and you can just make your own team as good as possible. You can even swap engineers from the race drivers. I don't know if they will be very happy with that, but it's possible. So yeah, and it will be also pretty fun for all the engineers to like see themselves in the game. You can also scout the key staff, and you can select the technical chief, head of aero, race engineer 1 and 2, the engineering team, the scouting team, and the pit crew. You have to train your staff to improve them, and you can select like a balanced training, or you can select a specific focus which needs some improvement maybe, and then the other parts will be a bit like left behind. Onto the facilities. There are 80 upgrades that you can do in total. There are so much options. It's almost limitless. In the car development facilities, you can select from 30 upgrades in total, and you can select the factory, design center, wind tunnel, CDF simulator, suspension simulator, and the car part test center. Every facility has its own benefits, and then you can improve specific parts. What are your weaknesses or your strengths? And then you can improve them whatever and however you like. You have to check the condition, keep an eye out on the effectiveness, keep an eye out on the monthly costs, and you can refurbish them or upgrade them. Besides the car facilities, you also have staff and operation facilities. And you can even build a helipad. Somebody did that with the hands-on session. That was absolutely hilarious. You have a lot of responsibilities, as you can see, and you need to keep the board happy. If you don't keep them happy, if you fail, if you have like loss and debt and it's all chaos and carnage, you will get a warning. If you get another warning, you will probably be fired. You can get fired from your own team. This is hilarious. I'm definitely gonna try that. And the confidence is based on the race performance, the objectives, the finances, and also the season objectives and the long-term objectives. There is no season limit. You can go on forever, for years and years and years and seasons. And yeah, I don't know. We probably don't have any F1 drivers left on the grid, but you will still be able to play. Okay, enough screens, enough talking, enough information. We want to see some gameplay, so let's dive into the intro with David Croft.
Hello from Baku, where we're looking forward to a weekend of racing among the medieval and the modern, here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Drivers will be battling it out on the streets of the Baku city circuit, a real contradiction of a track. From the long main straights where the less drag the better, to the tight turns where downforce is a necessity. Teams are going to have to work hard to get that balance right. We're about halfway through the season now, and there's still plenty of time for everything to change. All eyes are on the teams and how they tackle the rest of the year. There's nothing like a race weekend in Formula One.
Alright, that looks amazing, and keep in mind this is work in progress, it's not final. When I played the game, I noticed that the people move so naturally, so flowy, so, I don't know, not stuttery and static or something, but very nice and smooth. You can manage every session yourself or select to simulate them. Of course, if you do it yourself, you will get a better performance. If you simulate them, it will be a little bit less, but it saves you a lot of time. In practice, you have to do some track acclimatization, get some knowledge about the parts, and build a setup for your drivers. If you did that, you can look at the race day intro with David and Karun.
Race day has arrived and the time has come for these drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel.
Alpine demonstrated a lot of grit during qualifying here, and will be hoping that the hard work pays off when it comes to the race. It was a good result for Alfa Romeo in qualifying. Hopefully they can keep up that momentum for the race. And the race will be taking place under blue skies. That means the teams should be able to apply their strategies without any added complications.
Well, whatever happens, it's sure to be a tremendous race day here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Now it's time to create your race strategy and change your fuel. With the hands-on, I had quite a bit of fuel left, also thanks to the 2 red flags and some virtual safety cars and safety cars. So yeah, you have to change that before you start. But now let's get into the race.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like a cloudy day. Let's take a look at the Alpine. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. Further back, we've got Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. And we're just moments away now.
The race has started and now the fun begins because you need to manage the tires, the fuel and the ERS from both drivers. So pay attention and keep an eye out on everything. With the tire you have 5 options. You can go for attack, aggressive, standard, light and conserve. With the fuel you have 3 options. I pushed to the max all the time and still had enough fuel left, so that's okay. And with the ERS you have 5 options. You can harvest, neutral, deploy, defend and overtake. And if your ERS is empty, there will be a pop-up so you can change it so you are driving with an empty battery. All the information that you need will be in the HUD. You can see the interval between the cars, but you can also see the tire percentages of other drivers and change your strategy or driving style depending on if you're like slower or if your tires are way worn. You have to take it easy maybe, but based on that you can do everything you need. As you can hear, F1 Manager has real team radios. They got all the audio files from F1, had to select all the different messages and use them in the game, and that's just pretty awesome. You really hear the engineers, the drivers, and yeah, I just love that. There are team orders in the game. For example, you can ask your driver not to fight with their teammate. It will cost time, it can cause damage, it's just not very nice. But you can also ask your teammate to keep the other cars behind, just to be a bit slower. There are multiple camera options in the menu and you can also select the track map. You can choose TV pod, TV offset, the wing cam and rear wing cam. If you speed up more than X2, then you will automatically go to the track map because otherwise it will just go way too fast. If nothing is really happening, you can speed up the time like 16 times. And if you miss some of the action, there will be a replay pop-up coming up and then you can select it and see what happened. That was all the information we have so far. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye bye!